It's the 20th of May, and my upload this morning is for the attention of the United Nations and with regard to the rights in the Declaration of Human Rights that are being violated in this assault of my character, reputation and good name. Basically, my application to the ECHR was in 2019, as I've reiterated throughout these uploads. The Ombudsman and the government politicians were made aware of the failings and wrongdoings I experienced in 2017, in February 2017 to be quite exact. This little brief upload is basically a request to the United Nations to assess itself in its own way, my credentials, my experience and my reputation that has been slandered and negotiated, and the facts of which have been falsified in my hometown and home country, Ireland. There is a very serious assault of my character, reputation and good name, and I'd appreciate the United Nations assessing the recent developments and the outcomes of my work, the successes of my work that originated over a decade ago, but really came to fruition in the past 2 to 3 years, and that have been positive for society. I'd also appreciate the United Nations assessing the damages, harms and losses that I have experienced unduly, inexcusably and unjustifiably. I'd also appreciate the United Nations assessing the damages to my body, my light body, my anatomy, and I'd also appreciate the United Nations acknowledging that there have been individuals that have imposed, negotiated and bartered human life, and that have facilitated illegalities, unlawful actions and injustice against my good name, character and reputation, and that have also taken credit for my work that they have not accomplished themselves. I'd also appreciate the United Nations contacting me with regard to the obstructions I'm experiencing and the offences that I'm experiencing unduly as a private, law-abiding citizen whose track record is being tarnished by frauds that are of illegalities and defamation. I'd also appreciate the United Nations acknowledging the very serious nature of all aspects of my application from 2019 and the issue of my role in developments that have been disrespected, discredited and misattributed to the culprits that are of hate crime, slander and identity theft. I'd also appreciate the United Nations addressing the issue of denigration, debasement, defamation, disrespect, etc. that I'm unduly experiencing due to hate crime. And I'd also appreciate the United Nations addressing the, or acknowledging, should I say, the negative consequences of these people's negotiations without my consent or interaction or consultation. So there are people and professionals that have discussed a sacred royal and have damaged my purpose and profession and taken credit for my work. And I'd appreciate it, I'd highly appreciate it if the United Nations would address the inhumane, substandard, appalling conditions that I'm living in at the moment. As a teacher, as a recovery advocate whose anonymity has been exposed, as a recovery advocate, anonymity has been exposed and breached. They have breached confidentiality, and I find that highly offensive to the fellowship that I represent. So as a recovery advocate for the past 15 years, this matter is really offensive to many traditions and principles, and I would appreciate it if the United Nations would address the bad politics and bad business that is occurring with regard to my profession, purpose and experience in society as an advocate and humanitarian.